Hey there, this is Danylak with SEE Global. You know, for some time now, I've received some gentle pushback from some very well-meaning pastors and mature Christians about promoting a theology of singleness. And the concern is simply this: if marriage is in decline in society, certainly the last thing that we want to be doing is giving people a rationale, a theology that would encourage them to remain single and not get married. After all, we don't want to reinforce the behavior that we don't want. Shouldn't we rather simply be presenting a vision for Christian marriage and be encouraging our young people and the singles in our congregations to pursue a Christian mate? First, there is nothing about this ministry or myself personally that is in any way about discouraging marriage. We promote a high view of marriage for the church, and we would encourage any couple called by God into the relationship of marriage to pursue it. At the same time, we have to ask ourselves, what happens if we only promote healthy marriage in the church without also having a perspective on healthy singleness as an alternative option? Statistics tell us that most Western nations today are marriage minority cultures. This means for persons of marriageable age, singles now outnumber marrieds. And this trend in the decline of marriage is not simply a Western nation phenomenon, but it is showing up in countries in all 6 major continents. So in the US and Canada today, roughly 50% of adults, or just slightly more than that, are single. But according to a study by the Pew Research Center, when we consider those who are religiously unaffiliated, those who profess no faith at all, the proportion of singles is significantly higher. What does this mean for us? Well, when we think about those we are trying to reach for the gospel, those who have no religious affiliation, we can expect that roughly 60 to 65% of those individuals are single, roughly 2 out of 3. And what do we communicate to these individuals when they walk into our church and see that everything that we do and everything that we talk about centers around only marriage and family? Well, we effectively communicate that you do not belong here, and that unless you are married, you are not yet complete being the single man or woman that you are. The message of the church is all about relationship, but it is not about getting them into a relationship with the opposite sex. Rather, it is about getting them into a relationship with God, the only relationship that ever really does complete them, and does so whether they happen to be married, never married, widowed, or divorced. What the church around the world needs today is a high view of marriage, singleness, and sexuality that communicates to each and every person that when you are in Christ, you are fully blessed with every spiritual blessing in Him. The Church of Jesus Christ does not need to feel threatened by the societal decline of marriage, but it does need to respond proactively with a theology of singleness and marriage that challenges each of us to live our lives well for the glory of God and the sake of service to His kingdom, whether we find ourselves single, married, or single again. At the end of the day, there is only one relationship that will ever ultimately satisfy and fulfill us, and that is our relationship with God in Christ. And that, I think, is the gospel.